This is how it stands. I met a nice, but not so nice, upper middle class white female today. You might say the first intelligent conversation I've ever had with a female, but yet it didn't quite make the grade. Because unfortunately, and I've already said spells to make sure none of this hurts this person. This person does not deserve to be hurt. Nothing I say, however critical or seemingly cold or cruel, in my objection to her solicitation of me. It was a solicitation. She told me she had something special to offer me that a lot of times people paid for, but I wouldn't necessarily have to pay for it. Now, granted, it's healing, it's this, that, the other, but this is not something that I was really into in terms of this encounter. Which I was interested in for two reasons. One, she seemed very sensitive and very eloquent. That was it. And connected to the environment. But why is someone, listen to that. Why is someone so connected and eloquent who just runs into me, who shows a little brief amount of startlement? And the only person, because a lot of people walk by me there, who showed surprise upon seeing me, and yet was seemingly the most spiritual person, according to her. And maybe I'll have to learn that white females, whatever they've needed to do in the world, really need to sell themselves to the extent of maybe being a little too aggressive to men like me. Anyway, she started selling me her services, in which I figured as nothing but a very needy, emotionally needy man, but still an amazing spirit. And I've heard it before. I've heard it hundreds of times. And it's just like, she was trying to be nice. That's why nothing I say is meant to hurt her aura, spirit, people, what she's connected to in any way. There's no war to be had here. It's just, I took some time in my heart and just said, I wholeheartedly reject everything about you. She practically gave me her card and wanted to exchange personal information, which I politely declined. Which is like, and if you ever encounter this kind of thing on the West Coast, I would say, don't accept anything from them. They're like vampires. It's really like, I spend so much time fending off unwanted female energy. But she was, I don't mean that in any harmful way to her, but that's basically what I was doing. I'm able to show a lot of compassion, I realize, since a young age, of just being very passive to women, which allows me to kind of listen to, but also deal with psychopathic women who are not bad people. It's a combination of what they've learned, their environment, and but you can see what they're demanding in the course of your interaction. She's really kind of controlling the entire interaction. And at certain key points, unless you were really attentive, you wouldn't remember to notice that she was giving me strange body language, especially when I was talking. Like, she wasn't really listening, unless I gave her what she wanted to hear. And that was the truth. It was what she wanted to hear. Which figured very prominently what she had already figured out I needed from her. So, at one point, my emotional body gave off a feeling of shock. And I actually verbalized it and told her that I was in shock while listening to her talk. And while offering her some of the information she seems to want to know about me. And let's go. And I tell her at one point where in my body I feel the shock. And she says, oh yeah, people like you who have been abused often feel things at that particular part of your body. So now she's told me that she feels the great vibration of the shock inside of me. What I call shock. She doesn't call it shock. She steers away from putting words on it because she thinks that might hurt my feelings. Okay, think about this, talking to a strange woman. I'm able to point out a physical relationship to my body and how uncomfortable I'm feeling for whatever reason. And as a supreme healer on the path, she doesn't show any empathy. She's robotic. She never seems to question, if only for politeness sake, whether or not she's making me feel uncomfortable. While she's having a conversation with me that she doesn't really believe, but is actually making me feel very uncomfortable. But I'm just able to supply her a certain suspension of disbelief, and also with my emotions. I'm just like, well, I've been in shock for months, so at least it's an opportunity to share shock. And it's amazing that the person I'm doing this with might as well work for Scientology.